All right, thank you one more time. The program still on your television this morning on ITV. Now, the crisis within the People's Democratic Party, deepened yesterday, and little wonder whether a party that seeks to take over leadership in the next presidential election, whether this is the best way to go. Well, some of the formation that we are following in that regard is that PDP crisis are deepening as Wiki-led faction expels Makinde, Bode George, and others from the party. Now, all this came to the fore yesterday when the internal crisis within the People's Democratic Party, PDP, deepened on Tuesday as a faction of the party's National Executive Committee, NEC, aligned with the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wiki, announced the expulsion of several top party figures, including Governors Sheyi Makinde of Oyo State, Bala Mohammed of Bauchi State, and Dauda Lawa of Zamfara State. And the information read thus that the faction also declared the expulsion of former Board of Trustees Chairman Senator Adolfo Swabara, former Deputy National Chairman Chief Bode George, and the recently elected National Chairman Kabiru Tanimu Turakai SAN. Now, to look at all this this morning, to look at the issues, how best we can begin to unbundle what's really happening in the PDP as it stands now. We have a veteran political analyst this morning on our television. Chris Ojekere is joining us virtually from Benin. Mr. Chris, a very good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning, and thank you for having me here.
Okay. All right, so just like what I said at the introduction, I mean, for a party that seeks to take over leadership in the next presidential election, I mean, it's supposed to be in opposition with the ruling party. But the way it stands now, it appears that it is in opposition with itself. I mean, where do we go from here? What does that portend for the PDP as it stands now?
Tended for the PDP, at least in the past 2 years. It is just that now the chicken is coming home to roost even more, and more among people are beginning to understand what people like us saw in the beginning and why we had to take our flight. It is heart-rending because this is a party that was so organized, it thought it could rule Nigeria for another 60 years. This is a party that had produced 3 presidents, not presidential candidates, 3 presidents. President Obasanjo, President Yaradua, and President Jonathan. This is a party that had, structures across the entire unit, not just wards, across the entire unit of the nation of Nigeria. And so it's a party that had great promise. They had leadership. In fact, where political spectrum would have passed through the PDP. But then it came a time when the party started to abandon institutional procedures, started to abandon conventional methods tested and put in place. I started to leave the party in the hand of Nyesom Wiki. We better name him because we know him. And Nyesom Wiki was stealing River State money and funding the PDP with it. He got all the chairs and all the accolades. The party in power at that time, which is the PDP in the state, refused to question Nyesom Wiki, where he was getting so much money as a state governor to fund the party nationally. The party structure as at that time refused to also ask such questions. Because I'm speaking now to institutional. I'm speaking now to institutional projection as against individual projection. Because I'm going somewhere. I'm watching the way ADC, which is now going to replace or has replaced the PDP, as an opposition party, is organizing themselves. And I want lessons to be learned from what is happening to the PDP. That you build institutions, not individuals. So that gave Wiki an excessive, over-bloated superlative sense of entitlement. And so when in 2023, where he thought that it was not time for a presidential candidate of the PDP, he didn't get it. Wiki went ballistic with his data and decided there and then to destroy the PDP. What the PDP didn't realize, what they are realizing now, that he had become so entrenched that it was not just Wiki anymore, but that Wiki has become an institution within the PDP itself. Wiki has become the most powerful individual inside the PDP because the PDP has submitted to his war chest of money, which he was bringing from Rivers State. So that's the situation we have now. We now have a situation where the PDP can no longer identify itself. If it speaks with one voice, the Wiki PDP will speak with another voice. If it suspends Wiki or anybody of Wiki, like the National Secretary was suspended and then they went to court and he became restored as the National Secretary, Wiki's faction will speak. And this faction is across the country. They have them in all states. And they have them in every unit and ward. So that whatever a faction of the PDP does, the second faction of the PDP can do the same thing. And both of them are claiming to be PDP. So whatever action the PDP is going to have to take now in any situation, in any matter, it will always end up in court. And that's precisely the plan of Wiki. So that rather than run a political party, you are now running crisis. You are running cases. And Wiki thinks that he has the upper hand in the courts because the president of the day would not sit down and allow a political party like the PDP find its feet and raise up any form of opposition against it. It is this wisdom that people like Atiku Abubakar saw, and they left the PDP to go and build a house where Wiki cannot enter, where the long destructive hands of Wiki and the president will not reach as an opposition. So they formed the ADC. The ADC is now the swelling opposition in the grassroots that we can begin to look to now as our hope of challenging President Bola Tinubu in 2027. Not the PDP, I said it elsewhere, that not in this generation, that the hook, the tenterhook, the vice grip of Wiki in the PDP was still being underrated. It's beginning to play out now. Wiki has structures across board, and those structures are incidentally holding principal positions. The National Secretary, the National Organizing Secretary. These are two powerful positions in any political party. And that's why you find I am talking with confidence. The documents of the party are in their possession. So when I saw the day before yesterday or so, those amateur politicians saying that they have suspended Wiki and they gave the list of the PDP that they are suspending, I just laughed. I said it at EBS. I said, what we are going to see is what will be true.
So away from that now, Mr. Chris Ojekere, now you will recall that this is probably not the first time that we're having disagreements in political party or in political parties in Nigeria, I should say. But why this issue in PDP keeps on being a very worrisome one is that the polarity that we find in the PDP now is along even members of the NEC. I mean, you have the NEC being polarized. We have some that are loyal to the Minister of the FCC, Nyesom Wike. Then, of course, we also have some members that are loyal to the present chairman of the party. Now, ordinarily, we understand that it is members of the NEC that brings about disciplinary measures, But the way it stands now, the NEC is polarized, so on both sides. So who is now going to be responsible for discipline to be instilled back to PDP? Is this how the party is going to now, is this how it's going to be?
The lesson for all of us is that we should stop being pretenders. And that when leaders because of the cookie jar, we should call them out. And that those we call leaders must merit and deserve leadership. Why is it involving the NEC and the BOT? Because some members of the NEC and the BOT were in the paycheck of Nathan Wiki when he was governor. The issue that you are dealing with now didn't start even a year ago. It started immediately after the 2023 primaries. And I remember here some of the names that have been mentioned in the intro here, and I don't want to mention their names. I remember calling them out, even in this ITV, and saying that they are pretending that they can deal with the matter. They are speaking from both sides of the mouth, and they are not speaking truth to power. Top members of the BOT. And the reason why they were not speaking truth to power, and I remember one of them from the Southwest saying, well, Wiki has the right to complain. He has been funding the party. We shouldn't say that he has no right to grievance. He was not dealing with Wiki. He was dealing with a virulent sense of entitlement. And I was surprised that he didn't recognize that. And then he thought he was defending Wiki. The same Wiki he thought he was defending, and he now are on the opposite side. What is he going to do? So when leaders don't stand their ground as leaders, when they don't qualify to acquire that name and acquire that position as leaders, they don't speak truth to power when truth should be spoken. And when you don't speak truth to power when truth should be spoken, when things now run out of hand, we are saying we are confused, we don't know why it's like this, why it's like that. When you were compromising because of what you were getting, and you were allowing a young man to run amok within your party and was calling the shots, you submitted all authority to him. He could determine where you held your conventions. He could determine which chairman you brought. In fact, he influenced about 3 chairmen consecutively. And you out there, you have a BOT, and you have a NEC. And nobody was calling him to order. And now you want to begin to call him to order when you have 5 governors queuing up behind this personal vendetta, disguising it as fighting for the southern part of Nigeria. He was fighting for his own desire to become president. And today we see the kind of president that he would have been if he had the opportunity to become president. So we speak truth. Now, they weren't speaking truth at that time. And what has happened? What goes around comes around. Now the G5 or G whatever is scattered. They are in separate camps, antithetical to one another's interests. Because another member of the G5 now has an entitlement to that he wants to become president. He's also taking advantage of the crisis. So
Mr. Chris, we quickly take a short pause now. We must, take this break now. Don't forget the program is still this morning on ITV, and we are looking at the crisis, the current crisis that is rocking the People's Democratic Party. We'll be right back.
TMI, every opinion counts.
All right, thank you one more time. We still have a guest joining us this morning virtually, Chris Ojekere. And we're looking at the crisis in the PDP. Now, Mr. Chris Ojekere, now, if you look at the whole scenario, all fingers seem to be pointing to the Honorable Minister for FCT, Nyesom Wiki. And little wonder, what is exactly his goal? What does he really intend to achieve? I mean, the party has lost the presidential election and is no more in power. It stands as an opposition now. And what do you think is Wiki's goal? What does he want to achieve? What is his goal?
Wiki is a political bargainer. He knows how to horse trade. It's just that obnoxious attitude, Wiki would have been a very good politician. Within the Nigerian context, he knows how to bargain. Now, this is the bargain. The less opposition parties that we have against us, the more our chances for 2027. I'm quoting the bargain between him and the APC, and especially the president. Before the ADC, the PDP has structures across the entire world in Nigeria. If such party finds its feet and produces a presidential candidate we are going to have problems. So this is what you do. Ensure that the PDP does not produce a presidential candidate for 2027. If they are going to have a candidate, it will be a candidate who will appoint for them and pretend that he has been elected in the primary, so that that candidate will work for our interest. If you do that, then your chances of becoming president using the APC is guaranteed. So Wiki has a project and he has an interest in the job that he's doing. He's not just working for the president. He thinks it's in his interest that the PDP doesn't survive. But he refuses to leave the PDP because he wants to try and see if he has enough structure in the PDP to chase away every person who does not buy into his interest. So that if push comes to shove later with the APC, he will still own a political party he can still use, he can still build up to achieve his interest, because he's a very ambitious man, and I don't grudge him for that. But what I grudge is that he does not have to destroy the PDP to realize his ambition. He's not a very courageous person, and he is well aware of the antipathy against him in the other party, the APC. So he's afraid to let the PDP go on the other side of the coin and then move into the APC. So he has a dual role, fulfilling one for the APC and the other one for himself. Because if he lets the party go and moves into the APC, and the APC gang up against him, it will also, frustrate his interest. So Wiki has all of this in his mind to do the things that he's doing. And that's why you see that he's doing it with so much commitment, because his interest is tied to it, inextricably tied to it. And he has the energy to pursue it. And he has the backing of the federal mind. The only wise thing PDP members are doing now in the grassroots, and I'm surprised that the leaders are not seeing it, is that the PDP members are now beginning to align with the coalition. They are aligning with ADC. In the grassroots, they have enough perspicacity and enough political, clairvoyance to see that this battle is an eternal one at the leadership level. That it's a battle of no return, that they have crossed the Rubicon. And when you read write-ups in social media and so on and so forth of analysts who can foretell and who can, prognosticate into events, they will tell you that it's too late. They have crossed the Rubicon. Now, I can't understand why the leadership are rather than take proactive decisions and begin to map out their own strategies of how to have their stake within the coalition, they are there in a merry-go-round, or this time it's not even merry, in a vicious circle, with Wiki fighting endlessly. If Wiki has taken over your house, you escape from the house and regroup in a house that is ready to offer you shelter and respect you and give you value for the stake that you are bringing in. And that's the coalition. That is what I think they should be doing. Now, this is 2025, November, and look at the battle. It's just heating up. So if you extrapolate from here, this is exactly what you're going to have in 2026, and by 2026, December, you are having the conflagration. So are you never going to sit down to tell yourself, bad is enough? Let us sit down now and map out a political strategy exclusive of Wiki. Why are you struggling with Wiki? Why not follow your leader, your former PDP leader, which is Atiku Abubakar, and go and boost your stake in the coalition? You have the population. Why not go and boost your stake? They have the population. So that is why I cannot understand whether they are enjoying this kind of brickbats with Wiki and his cohort and his team. Wiki is never going to let go, no matter how much, whatever the wish that he will die. That's why when Wiki is at any time sick, they run to the press and say Wiki is dead. Wiki is not going to die.
All right, so Mr. Chris, because of time now, because it appears that you support, PDP, some agree PDP people leaving PDP and joining other political parties. But a recent There is a recent reaction to that now. Somebody has described or is describing people leaving the People's Democratic Party, joining the APC and the ADC, that they can be best described as association of leftovers. That's the best way that he's describing them. Now, the question that we asked to that effect is that what do you think are they going to bring on board? I mean, these same people that are, somehow not satisfied with going in PDP and, joining other political parties, what are they bringing on board? What would they bring on board in those parties they are joining?
First of all, PDP has highly experienced politicians. And even this experience they are passing through now, it's an experience that will serve the ADC. Having come through this kind of experience, nobody wants to repeat. So when they come into the ADC, the concept of this kind of thing will be very useful. Second, they have structures. Each of those factions have structures across the nation. Those structures can serve the ADC well. And then they have value because they have population and they have structure. So they can bargain. They have value. They can bargain, and then they will have a very comfortable state in the ADC. The man who described them as leftover, the reason why I don't blame some of them is that's what we call romanticization or nostalgia. When you've been in a place for so long, you begin to feel that this is home. You sink and swim here. You swim or sink here. So there are those who have that nostalgic feeling, but that is not borne out by reality. Every single day, we have worse news coming of division, of fight, of brick bats and all of that. So his statement is not borne out by reality. So we should advise people to face the reality. It is this inability to face the reality that brought us where we are. So the reality should be that as a structure organized, the PDP should abandon that house for Wiki. Wiki has put his tenterhooks there. You can't displace him. And then move into the coalition where they will be valued, where they have enough to negotiate, very robust dates. So I don't agree with the opinion of that.
All right, so the party has a new chairman now, but do you think that this new chairman can bring PDP back together as a whole, as one wholesome party that it was?
Evans, the new chairman, first of all, have to have access to the certificate. You didn't see what happened at Radata Plaza. He was outside, everyone was inside. He has to first have access to the seat. And this is the new chairman. When I heard that they have suspended this, I said, does the weaker, what does not know it? It does tell us that the stronger brain sucks in the weaker one. So you have to sit in the chair first before you call yourself the new chairman. There's not any new chairman for all the intents and purposes. The new chairman, by their own pronouncement, in their own convention, did not even witness.
Yeah, but he was voted for.
Yes, he was voted for by his faction. That's the issue right now. By his faction. It will interest you that all of those people that were suspended were not part of that faction, were not part of that meeting. And those are PDP. Are you going to wish away those PDP members? They have never left the PDP. It is you that made pronouncement that they are suspended. And now they came out and gave action that they are not suspended. And while they were inside the PDP, you were outside granting interviews outside. So reality does not bear out all of those claims. And that's why I say, having been rejected and having been oppressed, mugged, and frustrated out of the PDP, as it were just now, you should, rather than engage in endless fighting, political brotherhood with people who are ready for opposition. So we want the coalition to be a coalition of those who have been cheated by tyranny, fascist regime that disguises itself as democracy. So we want all of those people who believe in democracy to coalesce into one group and then fight against this fascist regime. What is the use fighting among yourselves within what you call opposition party. You're not opposition to each other. So he is not chairman here to all the intents and purposes. Look at what happened just now. Policemen were there. They didn't insist that he should go inside, that they recognize that he's the chairman. I doubt that INEC has his name as chairman of the PDP because they didn't witness the convention and the primary so-called. Now, I am who told you that since on the 14th of November, he has already communicated to INEC, to the police, and to the party members that they have the meeting that they had at Wadata yesterday. And that members you see there came in response to that letter. Were they not PDP members? Were chairman of state, and so on and so forth. So what you have is the stronger portion or the stronger faction taking over the reins of the PDP. Okay, the other faction, rather than
as we commence our descent now because of time. Now, this new party or parties, I should say that they are coalescing into. You have the ADC, and of course, you have the ruling party, the APC. I mean, leaving to these parties. Don't you think they are also going to have issues there? Take, for example, the ADC. We understand that the ADC, as it stands now, I mean, huge leadership problem. You know, the same thing with the PDP. So it's not about leaving the PDP. Where they are going to, the party that they are going to, there are already issues there. So what is their fate at the end of the day?
There is, if you do an audit of your family, you know, to personality, you will find that at least for 3 months, you must have one issue or another, either with your wife or with your son or with your. And those issues are normal issues in the family, that is in every family. So if somebody who lives in a utopian world now sees you, maybe as you were about to go to work, you and your wife had a little spat by the day, and runs to the press to say, Unu Koje and his wife are. You don't respond to such people. We don't have any leadership crisis in the ADC. We don't have any Wiki in the ADC. In fact, ADC just commissioned a very exotic edifice in Ademola Adetokunbo number 126, only a few days ago. United, an edifice that is finer than Wadata Plaza. So the point is, in every gathering of people, two people must disagree about colors, about the length of things, and so on and so forth. All of that is normal. The PDP is coming to his family by joining the ADC. Everybody in ADC and PDP are one and the same. The PDP that were rejected by APC is the same thing the ADC were rejected. Labour was rejected. Some members of the SDP were rejected. It is all of us that are coming together now.
These politicians are coalescing in the ADC now. I mean, that's what we're saying. These same rejected people, are they not the ones joining the ADC?
You will ask why were they rejected? They were rejected for standing for democracy, for saying that we are not going to have a one-party state. That's why I'm one of the rejectees, if I can use that word. That we wouldn't have a one-party state. That democracy allows for opposition, and we should coalesce together to be that opposition voice for the good of the president himself and for the good of the nation. So that people like Wiki did not corner the president and turn Nigeria into a land state project. So we were rejected for standing for democracy, for standing against fascism, for standing against the one-party state. And that is what unites us in common. We suddenly discovered our brothers that we are all Democrats who think the same way and who think that democracy must survive. So we separated ourselves from the pretenders, who pretend that they have been Nadeco, they have been this and they have been that, and they are ruling with authoritarian autocratic means, grabbing lands, refusing to address insecurity, refusing to address hunger, increasing tariffs of our people, and creating problems for Nigeria, and then sending Nigeria to the cliff edge to disintegrate Nigeria. So the rejected are all commonly rejected on a common purpose. That common purpose will now be our driving force and our binding power and vision. So that is why I say that they should come to the ADC. It's an arena, it's a platform, it's a forum. And have you seen the agenda of APC and the agenda of these people having problem with PDP now, clashing? It's a common agenda against a fascist regime, against autocracy, against tyranny and a tyrant. So that's what we are saying. It is the only way to go. I don't see any other way. It is in their interest, that is the interest of the APC, to allow PDP be fighting internally. If they could, they'll bring the same, they took the fight into Labour Party. If they could, they'll bring it into ADC. But maturity.
You are one of those that has left the PDP, but even that as the case may be now, if you are to suggest to the PDP for the party to come back, what will your suggestions be?
To come back to where?
I mean, to be a wholesome party that you once knew. You were once in the PDP.
That's what I have spent the whole time. APC is a new house. It's a new house and a new platform. Like America, United States of America was a virgin land. And people came from all over the world. This is the greatest country in the world. Why do people think that diversity will always lead to a problem? The biggest country in the world, the most demonstrated and demonstrable evidence is the United States of America. When you have people you have the original aborigines of America, you have people from New England, you have people from the Netherlands, you have people from Africa, you have people from the Caribbean, all of them come together with a common purpose, the American spirit. So it is time to form a party of Nigeria with a common purpose that does not have any original, aboriginal, what do you call it, landmark of the past. So
Okay.
it's a new idea. And that idea is that we are coaliting on this platform to always defend democracy.
Okay. All right. So we'll drop it here because I understand that my colleague in Abuja, Ikara, is going to be talking about the same crisis. So we'll drop it here so that we also allow Ikara to air, the guest in Abuja to also air his own opinion on the same issue.